Several years ago, Poindexter had to abandon the project, but now you say this is resurfaced. What is the legality doesn't seem to be clear here. From all the people you talk to, what is the state of challenging this?
Well, there are lawsuits going on right now. There's one in California, and there are a bunch in other states as well, challenging the authority of the NSA to do eavesdropping inside America without warrants, and even against the telephone companies for letting the NSA come in and set up shop in their operations centers. There are disputes about total information awareness. Now, that specific program, the funding was cut by Congress, but what we found out, and you'll see in an interview in this program, the guy who is the number 2 to Poindexter said he helped move a lot of this program into other agencies like the National Security Agency. And we found other things like the Tangram program at the Directorate of National Intelligence that is doing the same kind of pattern-based analysis that caused such alarm when it surfaced about TIA. It's a fuzzy area. The government has simply moved into an area that's gray in terms of the law, and the Congress, at least until recently, has not been willing to move against it and challenge it, and the court suits take a long time. So what's happened is, and the reason we did the piece really is it's 5 years after 9/11. We now have practices, attitudes, programs going on that haven't been well examined, and they're becoming permanently embedded in our life and in our legal structure. And there are people who think, and don't take my word for it, the people that are most interesting in our program, Spying on the Homefront, are former intelligence officials who've been on the insides of these programs, and they say they're worried that it's a slippery slope, that our rights and civil liberties are in jeopardy. So that's why we need to bring the issue to the public and then have a public debate about where we want to go, balancing security and civil liberties.
One last question before we have to go. Do you believe that this growth in security and the reinterpretation of these laws, do you think it has been a partisan issue? Has the GOP, which has been the party in power up until recently, have they pushed this through with little scrutiny over having the majority and being able to do so?
Well, there's no question that there were a lot of Democrats like Senator Pat Leahy of Vermont and Ted Kennedy of Massachusetts and Dianne Feinstein of California and others who raised more questions than the Republicans did. But you do have Senator Specter of Pennsylvania, Republican. He's worried about it. People from Maine, others. So it's not strictly a partisan issue. I would say this is an issue for the whole society. It's not a question of blaming one administration or another. The intelligence agency have a problem. They do have to protect our security. They now have great new technologies, and they're excited about using them. We as a society need to go back and review the laws and the rules that we put in place 30 years ago and bring them up to date for the digital age. I mean, we're just out of date. And the agencies don't want to talk about this. They wouldn't. A lot of them wouldn't go on the record with us. We tried to talk to General Hayden, the head of the NSA. We tried to talk to Mr. Mueller, the head of the FBI. They wouldn't talk to us on the record. I mean, we're talking to very good people, but these are people who've left the government within the last year or two, and they're no longer under the political discipline of the administration. But they've got lots of inside information. So I don't think it's partisan. I think we're not after one party or another. We're after a general problem of how the heck do we deal with this long-term threat without sacrificing the things that really make America a very special and important democratic place to live.
Hedrick Smith, thank you for joining us. Spying on the Homefront. If our viewers aren't glued to Free Speech TV tonight and can make it over to PBS, I'm sure that they're going to find this positively fascinating piece. Hedrick, thank you for joining us.
Good, Lenny.